Welcome to the Nerds from Work, your weekly escape into the world of geeks, nerds, and people who are trying to escape from hurricanes and very, very tragic, terrible disasters. That's not a joke. That's a serious thing. If you guys are in that, we're very sorry. We almost didn't record because Tank's power was going in and out.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I'm sure Brandon will get an ice storm eventually.
Next week.
Yeah.
Next Dragon Ball Z. Sorry.
All right. So, this week on the Nerds from Work, we're actually going to talk a little bit of news, something that dropped literally the day after Tank and I did the pre-show last week. And then we're just going to get into the Halloween spirit and go over, our favorite movies that get us in the Halloween spirit and try to get you guys in the Halloween spirit. This beer tastes really weird.
Squirrel.
Like, I'm sorry, but like that's all I can think about right now. Sweetwater hop hash.
Hop hash.
CBD infused IPA.
Plot twist.
For the stoner that wants to
Anti-Maddie sweet tea.
When you're trying to be crossfaded.
All right. Yeah. So what have you guys been up to real quick? Tank, what have you been up to, dude?
So I DM'd my very first Dungeons and Dragons game last night with some friends and family, and that was a blast. Yay! Other than that, just watching anime and writing, trying to write a book, but it's been busy, so I haven't made it very far.
Okay. Naru, let's jump to you because Brandon's is probably the most interesting. I know it is, actually.
Cheers.
I've actually been doing three things. One, continuing to finish up on Cassandra Cain, Batgirl, trying to read up and get caught up on all those comic books. Two, I have been watching Robotech.
Nice.
From
original
back in the 80s, because I'm like, I never saw that. It never made its way to Nigeria for some reason. And I've never seen it before. So I thought,
Are you watching it on Amazon Prime?
No, Netflix, I think. Yeah.
No, it's on Amazon Prime. I've been watching it on there too. It's nice.
Cool.
Dope.
Third thing I've been doing, pretty much doing a deep dive into
Fascinating.
screenwriting. Like,
I thought you were about to say acid.
no, screenwriting.
Shrooms.
I bought a couple books and I thought, okay, I'm gonna read up on this stuff. I may never write anything, but I want to sure as hell know about it. So
It's interesting to always know like how things happen, right? And then you have a deeper understanding and appreciation for things.
Well, there's the show like How It Works or whatever that show is literally a show for people just want to know how shit works. Like, I'm never gonna go build like a carbon fiber car hood or something, but like I know how they make it because of the TV show.
it's like sex. I mean, you want to read about how that works before you do it.
What?
No, because you said you don't necessarily want to do it.
No, didn't. I don't think you're talking to a bunch of people that read up on it.
Well, trust me, if you did, you'd have done it better the first time.
Maybe.
You can't argue with that.
That's what a porno is.
I love the look on Jason's face. He's like, he has nothing. Like
That's like saying, oh, if you read how to be a race car driver, you'll be a better driver. That's not true.
That's not the point. If you learn,
Some people just have an innate gift.
Nobody has an innate gift, jumps into a car and just drives. Okay, doesn't happen.
Speed racer, dude.
Bros.
Oh,
yeah.
Speed racer, go speed racer.
Yeah, you're right.
Have you ever seen the Duke fucking Hazard?
To fly as well.
They don't have any formal
let's
training.
go to Kansas and go visit him.
I tried to see Speed Racer in theaters, and the power went out. So I've to this day never finished that.
That was a sign because that movie sucked.
I liked it. I liked it. It was a trip.
Oh
It was a fun
God,
trip.
that was
That's what it
terrible.
Watch.
Like,
What were you
compared to the
expecting to
cartoons I
see?
watched?
Were you expecting Shakespeare? Like, seriously, it's called Speed Racer. It's done by the
Bro, the cartoon is so good.
Yeah,
The cartoon is whack in many ways too. It's just your cloudy in your eyes.
Bro, we're about to fight.
I was
Yeah,
Speed Racer for Halloween.
Alright.
Still have the fate.
Bring it. You know where I live.
Nice.
So I'll go because I want Brandon to go last because he's the most interesting. I've been playing card games. I've been playing Shadowverse and Hearthstone. Getting ready for Magic the Gathering Arena. Yup.
Yeah.
Oh, and watching a shit ton of New Girl. I love that fucking show. So good.
So great.
It's so good.
I've been watching The Voice.
Yeah, I've been playing card games.
I have-
I've been studying for a huge test, which I passed on Monday. So
Yay.
I might have more free time.
Wait, what's this test
Yeah.
about?
What's that?
What's the test about?
Mortgage loan origination.
So now you can buy me a house, or I can buy a house.
Man,
Dude, help
you
you
should
find
study.
a house. But yeah,
Learn what words mean.
I may have misunderstood what he was saying.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I've been wrapped up doing a lot, and I know last week, we didn't have a show. We tried to come out with something small for you guys, but
Yeah, I had an atomic wedgie, and
here we go. We'll have more content coming out as Tank and I will hopefully both soon be working from home. So, all right, Brandon, where'd you go, playa?
I took a last-minute trip to New York for New York Comic-Con because there were Sunday tickets open.
No way.
Hey.
I hate you.
I told you, Brandon.
4-hour drive. Well, I've lived up here for like 2 years-ish, going on 2 years, and I've never been in New York.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I never went. It's like a 4-hour drive from my house,
Yeah, that's nothing.
like 4.5.
That's,
So I was like,
that's
fuck
like
it.
downtown traffic.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, yeah, I missed all the cons that you guys went to and everything, and I was like bummed that I didn't get to go, like Dragon Con and all that shit's like really cool. And Jason knows I love going to conventions because I went to way more like when I was in undergrad and stuff. So I was like, fuck it, dude, I'm just gonna go to New York Comic Con.
Awesome.
So I got a Airbnb in like the hood of Brooklyn, like south, like near Coney Island.
Like $25
And then,
a night.
And then I just took the train. I realized that I could have, like, how much money I spent on like Ubers and train rides. I could have just stayed in a nicer place. Like, Ubers are super expensive. It was like almost $40 for an Uber to like go to a nice part of town to like eat dinner and like have drinks or something. Cause we were like, it was kind of like partially Chinatown-ish.
Hell
It
yeah.
was weird. It was just a weird area. Like the architecture isn't what you would think of when you think Brooklyn, New York and stuff. It was just a weird like 80s architecture. It's like if you imagine if Ahmad built her back deck in the 80s. That's what it would look like.
What?
Yeah, if
He
he's
lost
confused,
us.
if he's confused, I can only imagine. Like,
Yeah, it was weird.
because you lost me.
I'm a huge like architecture nerd of like that's one of my favorite like forms of art. So I was like bummed on that. But there were actually like not to be a Debbie Downer, but there were actually a lot of things I was bummed on like New York Comic Con.
Bro, don't tell me that shit. Also, you went on fucking scavenger.
I went on Sunday. So it was like it opened at 10 and closed at 5:30. It was like,
What?
Damn.
yeah. It was like everyone was closing down. Not a lot of people were there. It was
So that's why
Like-
the tickets are.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
to
Sure,
be fair,
exactly.
Brandon even finding Sunday tickets like that's pretty interesting because
Yeah.
I know when Brandon and I went to San Diego Comic-Con, we bought tickets for opening day, and I was watching them sell out within 5 minutes of opening.
Yeah, and I realized going to this and having been to San Diego Comic-Con, it is nowhere near San Diego Comic-Con.
Wow.
Like it claims to be like the biggest on the East Coast, and people are coming in from like overseas and stuff. And I was like, you guys need to just save your money and go to fucking San Diego. Like the people coming and like doing the panels and stuff were definitely like high caliber. Like there were a lot of the doctors there. If you're a Doctor Who fan, which we got to see them. Critical Role had a bunch of stuff there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a live show. I went to a Q&A there. So with all of our D&D stuff going on right now and us being hyped on that, I really wanted a lot more D&D stuff, which when we went to San Diego Comic-Con, it was fucking everywhere.
And Dragon Con.
Yeah, well, I haven't been to Dragon Con, but yeah. Dragon Con is more focused towards that. But
Yeah.
there's usually more of like a mix between both. But
Dragon
like
Con
there was
sports
one
fans,
person, there was like one person selling hand painted miniatures, and then so like Dorvin Forge, who's a place who like makes the sets for Critical Role, and they have this whole thing Kickstarter. They have or they used to. I don't know if it's still up. They had a documentary on Netflix about like how they got their money and shit. It's really, really good about the like creator of that. I watched that a long time ago, but they're located in Brooklyn and weren't at New York Comic Con. Like they didn't go. Huh. And like the people from Critical Role were like posting pictures with the people from Dwarven Forge, and they're like, "Oh, we're at the headquarters and all this." And I was like, "Oh, they're for sure there and gonna have a booth," and they didn't. And then Hasbro, I was really wanting to go to like Hasbro booth, look at like some Magic the Gathering stuff like that, and that also wasn't there, which was the biggest thing in San Diego Comic Con, like in the sales.
Legos.
Yeah, and it wasn't even there. So I was just kind of confused. I guess I was expecting things I saw at San Diego Comic Con. It's just a different con. Still awesome. I love, like, I'm a Doctor Who fan, so I love like Doctor Who stuff. I actually didn't buy anything, which is really sad. But like everybody knows, like by the end of the con, like all the exclusive stuff is usually sold. So
yeah,
it was slim pickings by the time I was there. But I had a blast going, and I watched the Critical Role Q&A and the new Doctor do a Q&A and stuff, and it was really cool.
Oh, you had a boring weekend then. Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
right?
It was awesome.
So maybe next year, all four of us will actually get together and go to some convention.
Yeah. We should go to if we're doing the new Dungeons and Dragons thing, we should go to Gen Con, dude.
Well, here's the thing. We've already got spots.
We already got tickets.
Dragon Con. So why don't you just come down for that?
Thank you.
Yeah, I could do that.
But also, not to be confused with, we should just try to go to San Diego.
Well, I'm saying if we go to Gen Con, then everybody's held accountable for traveling, and everybody's not like, yeah, you didn't fucking
or
Where's Gen Con?
Everybody's in the same boat of paying to get there.
Where's Gen Con at?
I think it's like Illinois or something.
Indianapolis.
Oh man.
It's
There's nothing there. Why don't we go to San Diego Comic Con? Everyone eats Cali burritos.
Yeah.
Then we go to the next topic. Because we'll stay on conventions forever. So a little bit of news dropped last week, right after we recorded the pre-show. So we weren't able to get it to you last week, but
and of course, your boy Jason just absolutely wet his pants because he couldn't talk. He had to wait a whole week to talk about his man crush. Go ahead.
What happened?
That's not cool, dude.
Pee poo poo pants.
What happened?
I'm not poo poo pants, actually.
Oh, Houdini 0333 pee pee poo poo pants.
Chris Evans is dropping the shield as Captain America.
No way.
He will no longer be Captain America after this Infinity War that's coming out.
You're kidding.
Because they're doing a reboot of Fantastic Four.
No way.
Johnny Storm.
Hey, he killed it as Johnny. I don't care what anybody says.
Awesome.
So just real quick thoughts on Chris Evans not being Captain America any longer.
I'll go first. It's an April Fool's.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's an April Fool's joke.
Nope.
They're messing with
October? What?
Not April.
You know what I mean. Besides, they always bring the movies out in April anyway. So,
Denial isn't just a river in Egypt.
It's a late April.
What are you thinking, Brandon?
I'm happy about it, but I've always been on this side of the new MCU. I think every time we've talked about it, of them like killing off the old characters. Like I want the new like Iron Man to be the comic book girl. I can't remember her name.
Riri.
Yeah, I don't know anybody's name. But like, yeah, I want like
I'm Jay.
I'm ready for that like wave. So I think it was coming regardless of if he wanted to, anybody wanted to. I think they've kind of announced it a long time ago. They're like, everybody's gonna leave or whatever. So
yeah,
I'm happy.
So I'm the same as Brandon. I was actually hoping my biggest, without seeing the next Infinity War, but at the end, my biggest gripe with Infinity War is that they killed off all the brand new characters that were already slated to have sequels.
Right.
Whereas if you had killed off like Iron Man or Cap or Hawkeye or any of those characters, you could have like actually left them dead and like moved on to these new characters. So, I mean, it'd be cool to see if like they give it to like Sebastian Stan or if they give it to Falcon or whatever. If they give him the red, white, and blue and let them run with it for a little bit. What's that?
Anthony Mackie.
Thank you. like if you give it, I'm curious to see if they keep the character going, if they give him a new actor to play the character, or how they're gonna, or if they just go ahead and move on and let's stick with the new characters.
So I will go. I hope that they do not get a new Steve Rogers. I hope they move it forward, saying like, either the Falcon takes a position or something like that, because the Falcon would be the most deserving. But to me, I'm happy that this is happening because these actors are not getting any younger.
Right.
Like we can see it in Tony Stark. We can see it Robert Downey Jr. We can see it in all of them except Chris Hemsworth. That guy just doesn't age.
Dude's actually 30.
How old is he for real?
I have no idea. Like 40 something.
I was like, Google will tell us.
Nah.
But anyway,
28 going on 28.
I'm glad that he's leaving on good terms. Both him and Marvel have both said, like, this role is amazing. Like, thank you so much. I've grown in this role. This role has grown with me. And, I'm leaving on good terms, meaning they're going to write him out professionally. It's not going to be this, okay, where's Captain America? Like they did with Hawkeye, where Hawkeye should be coming back in this next Infinity War.
Yeah.
But
35.
It's just like, where is Hawkeye? Nobody knows where he is. They're not going to do that with Cap. Hopefully they write him out. It's a tasteful transition, and they give him a hero's death, just like they would do Robert Downey Jr. or anybody else.
I'm curious to see, and I know we said we're going to keep moving, but I'm curious to see if the way to fix the way I feel about the first movie is that those guys that are left trade their lives for the ones that did die, and that's how they come back, and that's how you get rid of.
That's my thought when I came out of that one originally. I said the trio, like the trio will give their lives for someone else. So I wouldn't be surprised if, like, in a month or two, Robert Downey Jr. says, like, hey, I'm stepping down from being Iron Man. And then Chris Hemsworth says, like, hey, I'm stepping down from being Thor. Because the ones that are left, and like Scarlett Johansson will give up her spot. If they do that,
it'll give it away.
I think it will too.
It'll give too much away.
If they all were to come out.
I'm just like, it would come out eventually. Like if they weren't going to do it again.
They could do that after the movie.
But it could be where like Robert Downey Jr. has side roles in other movies that were prequels to this movie. So maybe he won't say that. So. Right. I mean, it's all like, I think that the trio would give their life to bring everyone else back because they've had their run. We've talked about it before where Robert Downey Jr. had X amount of movies and he's already passed that. They're all looking at moving on, but
Chris,
I think it's good.
Got that sick ass new weapon though.
Yo, Stormbringer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he just got that shit.
Who's the
away
trio?
From Marvel. Away from Marvel. It's how
the trio.
This is Halloween. This is Halloween. 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 All right. So we're going to get into the Halloween spirit, guys. I know I've been getting into the Halloween spirit here in the past couple weeks because I have such a long commute. I've been listening to some crazy podcasts about like real life murderers. So my mind's super fucked up right now. Like women that hang their husbands' skin suits as curtains.
What's it called again?
Oh, Last Podcast on the Left. This shit's super fucked up. But it's really, really funny. But it's fucked up.
But don't watch it before I go to sleep.
No, you could listen to it before you go to sleep, but it's super fucked up. Actually, it might give your roommate ideas. Don't listen to it before you go to sleep. So what we're going to do, we're going to go down and we're each going to name one movie that gets us in the Halloween spirit. So Tank, do you want to go first?
Sure. So in honor of my beautiful wife, who is also our social media manager, the Cape sidekick.
Happy birthday to you. 2 days late by the time this comes out. Happy birthday to you, Shannon, because I don't know if you actually listen to this or not, but that's fine. Happy birthday.
This is
on Wednesday.
Happy birthday. I'm gonna go with one of her favorites that I enjoy watching with her, Hocus Pocus.
With Bob and the black cat from Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Dude, I actually never saw Hocus Pocus all the way through until a month ago.
Never seen it.
I probably watch it once a year, honestly.
Probably around Halloween.
Just sit. It usually gets played in my house. I'm one of those people that no matter what movie is on the TV, if I walk past and I stop for more than 3 seconds, I have to sit and watch the entire movie. I've watched Love and Basketball with my mom on the Hallmark channel so many times I can quote it because I will walk past and for whatever reason I get fucking stuck on that dumbass movie. So
Dude, Love and Basketball is the shit. Don't call it a dumbass.
Yeah, I was about to say.
That sounds terrible.
Just because you watch it so many times, looks dumb to you, don't mean it's dumb.
Being stuck on Hocus Pocus around Halloween, not too bad.
Not so bad.
Not too bad. Naru, you look like someone who enjoys a good scary flick.
Yeah, well, okay. So
I didn't even watch Doctor Who because the dog likes
I know, that's why I chose him next. We went from a kid's movie to a kid's movie. Let's do this.
Yeah, straight up. My preference when it comes to Halloween is to watch like Die Hard and get ready for Christmas. I skip right through that.
People argue, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Yes. By the way, Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and around Christmas, I'll go into that. But to Naru, Die Hard is a Halloween movie.
Yeah,
he wants to skip Halloween.
Yeah, all the glass and everything.
And I don't totally disagree either.
With a Halloween movie? What?
No, with skipping Halloween and making your way to Christmas.
I don't understand why you guys want to skip Halloween. This is like at work we were talking about this.
You realize that your problem is you're American. And you Americans are just so weird. You guys are just weird. Like I have no idea why.
No. That's not it at all. So
it's an American thing.
It's being a grown ass man. Okay, because like when you're a kid,
there's grown ass people all over the world. Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah. So listen to this because you're just a baby. It's not. I know some Nigerian people who are hard as hell. So don't bring that.
What does that have to do with anything?
No. So listen.
We're talking about
when
Halloween.
You're a kid. Naru, shut up. When you're a kid,
why? I don't do Halloween.
Love Halloween because the candy, right? You're like, oh, I love the candy. But then you're like, I don't really like Thanksgiving, and then you just want Christmas to get here. Now, as an adult with children, I look forward to Halloween because I can frighten my children and just scare the shit out of kids. And I get to watch, I get in the spirit. It's kind of fun, whatever. But I don't eat candy because it fucks up your teeth.
Watching a TV show about murders.
No, it's a podcast, bro.
Oh, there you go. A podcast about murders. Even worse.
Gary.
Also, I might not be the best mentally, so
that's kind of
anyway. But then I look forward to Thanksgiving because as an adult father, as a dude, I can just eat and sleep and watch football. And that's my day. Like I no longer look forward to Christmas the same as when I was a kid.
Christmas gets more, every year you get.
This is Jesus looking at you right now.
More expensive.
I look more and more towards Thanksgiving.
This is Jesus looking at you right now, like.
And maybe you don't understand that, Naru, because I understand Thanksgiving is an American holiday, but I get it. Like I love it.
I like the concept of Thanksgiving. I just don't like anything scary. Like, why should I scare myself?
Hey, Naru, I love your Halloween movie. Okay?
Thank you.
It's a great movie.
Thank you.
Germans taking over a building, extremely scary.
Terrifying.
All right,
in any context, that's scary.
So the only reason I'm not a huge holiday person, Jason knows this. I'm not into holidays really. But recently I watched the new It movie and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I liked it. It was a long ass movie and I actually sat through the whole thing and was attentive, which is really hard for me.
Who's in it?
I don't fucking know anybody.
A fucking clown.
The kid from
No, I don't know anything about it.
Oh yeah.
The main boy who's in love with 11.
Which leads me to another thing. Stranger Things is fucking awesome around Halloween.
I might rewatch that shit for Halloween.
I never got around to watching season 2, so maybe I'll take the month of October and watch season 2.
I got tricked into watching season 1. Season 2 is not happening for me.
Nerd didn't like it.
I mean, it's not I'll admit,
You just know that
they ramped it up.
You just know they amped up the things that.
Season 2 is so much better.
Yeah. In terms of the It movie, though, it wasn't as scary as I wanted and or expected. So like growing up, my aunt and everybody that was like older was always like, "Oh, don't walk by the sewer because it'll grab you," and I'm scared of that. Or like Tina's like crazy scared of that stuff. And I just saw the picture of the clown and was like, "Oh yeah, that shit's scary," and never watched it. But watching it, it really wasn't that scary. It was just like a good movie. But it had like that feeling of like creepiness.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like pop out scare you. And it wasn't like the opposite type of scared, like fucking Paranormal Activity, where you're just like terrified to like when your alarm like has like a red flashing light at night and fucking
Anxiety.
Yeah, I don't do those. The only two scary movies I've ever seen. I've seen The Ring.
Oh, that was good.
And I watched Nightmare on Elm Street. Which Nightmare on Elm Street makes me think like those old '80s horror movies wouldn't be that bad because Nightmare on Elm Street's not.
They're funny as shit.
I was gonna say it's more comical than anything at this point.
But I watched the new It movie, which is now gonna be like a like 2-part. The sequel's coming out.
Isn't the second part all the kids are grown up or something?
Yeah. And they like come back and stuff. But like it's a good movie and it's not scary. Like maybe you'll be scared of what like Naru is scared of Daleks just because they're Daleks. So like he might be scared of it. But like it doesn't have any moments that like fucking like come out and scare you or anything like
scares.
That. Yeah, it's just like a creepy concept of like why he's there and stuff like that.
So I'm actually going to throw out 2 movies that I love to watch during Halloween because all of you have kind of let me down with scary movies. Number 1 will be in my number 2 spot. So I guess my number 2 movie would be Sinister. I don't know. Obviously, you guys have never
heard of it.
So it's about
done by James Gunn.
What's that?
No, that was Slither, right?
Yeah, Slither.
No, Slither.
Okay.
This one's Sinister, and it's got Ethan Hawke in it, and he's a true crime author. So he writes about true crime. He moves his family into a house where an entire family was slaughtered. And his family has no idea. And he finds the videotapes of the murders in the attic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he watches them, and then the demon is in the videos.
Mm.
And like one of the best parts, I'm not going to ruin the movie.
Go ahead.
You might as well. Yeah, I'm never going to watch this movie.
Okay. People who are listening might.
But if you guys are going to watch it.
Hey, put a spoiler warning.
I like scary movies.
So have you seen Sinister, Brandon?
No.
Okay, I'm not going to spoil it then. Sinister is a great one to watch. Yeah, he moves his family into a haunted house, basically, but his family has no idea. And his son suffers from, what is that terrible sleepwalking? Like where he sleepwalks, but he's also like extremely violent. Like when he sleepwalks.
I didn't know there was like a specific
mixes together.
Jason
And
Knight.
that's a really, really good movie. What's that?
Sleep Murder.
Sleep Murderer. Yeah. So Sinister is really good if you guys want to get in the Halloween spirit. That one is gory. So I will say that. There's blood, there's violence, all of that. So if you don't like that stuff, don't watch that one.
There's me.
My number 1 movie that I'll throw down, and I would say that Naru could watch this and Tank with the lights on, The Conjuring. I don't know if you guys have seen that one.
I think
I've heard about it. Almost watched it.
Tank is saying no. Have you?
Nope.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Okay. The Conjuring is so it's based around a family that moves into a haunted house, and they call the same people who. This is a true story, like a quote unquote true story. They call the people that did the exorcism on the house for the Amityville Horror. So they went out to clear this house, and this was one of their unrecorded, like they didn't tell anyone about this house because it was so haunted. Well, the people finally in 2013 were like, or 2010 or whatever, whenever the movie came out, released it and said, okay, we're going to tell this story now. And the movie is put together so well. There's no blood. There's no gore. It's a thriller, but the way the movie is directed is like a 1980s film with amazing writing. So like everything is written so well. the thrilling moments are like very, very peaked, and it keeps you on the edge of your seat. That's why it's my number one Halloween movie. The Conjuring, no blood, no violence. It's just a good, scary movie to watch.
Who's in
Dude,
it?
real talk, the Scary Movie kind of messes with me a little bit. Like,
Oh my god, dude!
Like,
Oh wait, is that the funny one?
yeah, it's the funny one. Like,
Nah, that's pretty cool.
My germs.
strong, take my strong
Dude,
hand.
when the plant started smoking him, dude, I could not.
What the hell am I scared for?
It's well, the
It's
scene
a
where
bag of
they're
bones.
the scene where they're making fun of The Exorcist. Like the very first part of that scene where like it's not like right before it gets funny. Like it kind of screws my head a little bit. I'm good. I don't do it.
Dude, have you guys ever seen The Exorcism of Emily Rose?
Oh, no.
Dude, that movie's fucked up.
No, I don't do
Exorcism.
No.
I like scary movies, but I don't want to watch them alone. Like, it's not like being scared alone, but like I don't. Yeah, it's just not like as entertaining. I guess because I don't jump as much as other people, like while watching movies. So if something's gonna be jumpy or scary, I want to like kind of look over the other person and be like, "You scared or not?"
Bro, okay, so to give you guys an idea, I closed my eyes and ears for the trailer to not Mother. What was was it Mother? Mother.
There's a
like,
movie, Mother, yeah.
But
That movie actually kind of sucked.
I kind of want to see The Nun. Isn't that one that came out recently?
Yeah, The Nun just came out.
There were people cosplaying as that, and I was like, "That shit's scary." Like the cosplay people, like fucking just like.
Yeah, dude.
I
Creep me out.
I got a
think
question.
you can find it on HBO or maybe Amazon. Watch Sinister, Brandon.
Okay, I got a couple questions for you guys.
What's up, dude?
One for Brandon, one for Jason. Brandon, do you get this experience? You have this experience. You know that thing that happens where people hype a movie and then you show up at the movie, and because of the hype, it's a bit of a letdown. Does that happen to you with scary movies? Like, is that the same kind of emotion?
I guess I don't go watch scary movies in theaters really. It's like I only went and saw Paranormal Activity, which I saw with Jason, the very first one. We went and watched it in theaters and then stayed in my dad's super old ass house. It was like right after my dad got married. So it was like that long ago. And they were like, "Oh, we're going on our honeymoon. You guys stay there." So it was like fucking just quiet because Jason was on this like 6 p.m. like sleep schedule. So he like went to sleep. So like that one was one of the scariest ones.
6 p.m.
And it was hyped up in terms of like everybody was like, "You have to see this. This shit's scary." And it was. That one lived up to it.
What about when you watch it at home? I mean, isn't that same thing?
Yeah. So like that's what I was about to say. So like I watched it at home. I didn't hype it up as much because I obviously didn't go see it in theaters or anything. But in my mind, I was like, this is supposed to be really scary.
Right.
And so, because a lot of people, that's like a huge fear of theirs is from that movie as a child in like the 80s or 70s or whatever.
My wife's cousin.
Yeah. So like a lot of people, that's like a huge fear because of that movie.
Okay.
And it didn't scare me that much. I wasn't necessarily let down because it was still a good movie. There was one I watched that I had that, but I obviously I like scary movies, but I don't.
So generally speaking, it doesn't matter the level of hype you've heard about. The movie is still an experience for you on its own.
Yes, I still want, because especially with like a scary movie that plays on such a deeper level of like feeling than other types of movies.
I know, that's why I asked.
Yeah, so like, to me, it's like how you feel about it. And it like what the hype is what the hype is. I might be upset that it's not as scary,
Right.
but like if I'm scared, like the Babadook, I liked the Babadook, and that's an indie film that went straight to Netflix. That's like cheap as shit, but like it was a cool movie and it was interesting and it had no hype really. But yeah, I feel like it's different than the hype train of like Batman vs Superman. It's like I wasn't going into that to get this weird like emotion. I was going to see a good movie of something I liked, which I guess is a type of emotion, but still it's not this like this instinct that you have, like the fight or flight like instinct that like fear triggers in you. That's what like scary movies are playing off of, like building anticipation and fear and these like instincts of survival. Whereas like watching Batman vs Superman, it's like I like it, I don't like it, that's cool, that's not cool, that was corny as shit. Like it's easier to knock that than it is to knock like a feeling something gives you.
Cool. My question for Jason. Totally forgot what it was.
Great
It's a
question.
good start.
I love
I
it.
know, right? Yeah.
Good
Oh,
start.
yeah. What? Forgot again.
Oh,
Yep.
it's right there.
Yeah, it's right there on the tip of my nose. It'll come to me.
Well, that's in my nose.
Oh, well.
That's what I talk with. My nose.
I can't remember what it was. Like literally, I just totally forgot. I was like, it had to do with horror movies as well. Oh yeah. Don't you feel like, I mean, like your description of the last two movies are the same thing. There's a family in a haunted house. It's a family in a haunted house. There's a family in a haunted house. Or there's a bunch of teenagers at the lake. There's a bunch of teenagers in a scary part of town. There's a bunch of teenagers and, don't you feel like these movies after a while, like literally just roll into I mean, you see one, you see them all.
That's yes and no. So the two movies that I described, the way I describe them, family moving into a house that's one was haunted, the other one, I'm not going to ruin it for Brandon. The Conjuring, they tell you it's haunted in the trailer. Sinister, something completely different, but they're moving into a house where the murders happened. Yeah, I see how they can start to blend, but that's also everyone, you're going to have your genre, right? Like, so me, I can sit there and watch every single monster movie, every single anything like that. And it doesn't scare me because that shit's not real. Like I can watch, Halloween and it's like, okay, he's walking everywhere and you guys are so scared, but he continues walking. Or Freddy Krueger. Okay, that would never happen. Right. But then it all plays off your emotions. Like, do you believe in haunted houses, or do you believe in ghosts, or do you believe in demons? And it's like these little things play off of your emotions. So my emotion is more of like, I've got kids, so a family in a house where the father can't do anything to protect the family. That shit is scary to me, where it's like, oh, anything physical, the father can protect them, but when it's something other than physical, that shit scares the hell out of me. So, it plays off of my fear. And that's why those are some of my favorites that trigger that response that Brandon was talking about. But there are a lot out there. There are monster movies. There are the, haunted house. There's exorcism movies.
Like, on that note, if you just watch like American Horror Story, like those shows, like each season has like each season basically has 5 different storylines that are told like day in and day out in all like horror films. So like what you're saying is like, oh, it's the same cadence, like it's the same thing. They move like season 1, they move into a haunted house. Like that's season 1 of American Horror Story. But then they're like, there's a fucking Frankenstein in this one, and also this crazy person at an asylum, and there's the clowns. And they like do all that, but it just goes to show that there's like a million ways to tell the same story, and it's
all superhero movies.
Yeah.
Well,
guy,
here's the
bad
thing.
guy,
I'm glad you brought that up, because with regards to superhero movies, people on the outside looking in talking about superhero fatigue, and that's an issue that people talk about. But first of all, we know from being insiders that the guys who do the telling of the stories tell different kinds of stories in that genre.
Yeah.
So there is that. But the question I was wondering was, is that what they do in horror movies? Like, because they'll do a sci-fi in horror movies. I mean, in superhero movies, they'll do a buddy cop movie. They'll do
Alien is like a horror movie, kind of.
Like Venom.
Yeah.
Venom's a buddy cop.
The way the two movies that I've described, one is written, produced, everything like a 100%, A-class Hollywood horror movie. And Sinister is that. Like, it frightens you. It's got like all these little things to it. But when you watch it, it's got very, very high production value. And then when you watch The Conjuring, it's made to look like it was filmed in the 80s. Like, even the lettering at the very beginning is all yellow.
Nice.
Like every single horror movie in the 80s. And I loved that from the very beginning. And the way they tell the story is so much different. So like
Like a throwback.
Sinister, they tell it from the father's angle, and it's like, oh, this is what's happening, and the family's trying to get away. In the Conjuring, it's the family is trying to stay together the whole time, and they just can't figure it out because something is happening inside the house that they don't know. So the way they tell the story is completely different, even though it is the same. A plus B equals C.
Yeah.
I got to say, the way you guys talk about this almost makes me want to consider almost thinking about almost watching it.
Nope.
I would say
Still not
just
gonna
watch
happen.
one.
Still not gonna happen.
Well, I mean, with the lights on, watch one, because that emotion that Brandon's talking about, and I was thinking
Lights
about
on, with my wife holding my hand, with the kids playing, with you guys there, with chairs and Jesus Christ on my shoulder.
What's really cool, like a movie like Paranormal Activity.
Mm.
Spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't fucking seen Paranormal Activity yet, and I know Tank and Naru aren't gonna watch it. So.
No.
But like you should. Like the thing is, nothing fucking happens until like the last 5 minutes of the movie.
and then you don't even see.
I heard that.
Yeah, so like that's what's cool is like being able to see how to tell a story, because that's the same story, right? A family.
I like it when you mess with my mind. Just don't throw the mixture of fear into that.
Well, like a family moves into a haunted house, basically. Like something happens and someone gets, whatever. And then it's like, but that movie is way different from the other two movies that Jason.
Oh yeah. The
Like,
Blair Witch Project.
Nothing happens. It's
you can
just
pretty
told
much take
through,
that.
like,
Hey, Jason, take that and make your next character in D&D.
Yeah.
Family moves into a.
Yeah. I mean, if the two of you did anything this Halloween season, I would say just try one scary movie.
And I would go into
middle of the
it
day.
watching it as like a learn from, like try to figure out why they're telling stuff and how they're telling it. Don't go into it thinking like I'm be scared of shit.
That sounds cool, actually, but no, thanks.
Watch it as like now we're doing a show where we're talking about how to break it down.
Okay.
Because that's what I did with The Conjuring, and I love that movie so much. That's my number one favorite horror movie because of the way I watch it.
No.
Well, also, what's the superhero movie that's coming out that's basically a horror movie?
New Mutants.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I have doubts about watching that one. I'm going to tell you right now. Like the second I saw the trailer, I thought
in an insane asylum.
That would be.
I saw the trailer and thought, no.
That might be the only way to get me to go see a horror movie. Is to
What's the
watch
series?
it.
What's the series with Xavier's son again? I forget.
Oh, Legion.
Legion. Yeah, I started watching it. It started getting super weird. I'm like, sayonara.
Oh.
So I think we could go all night, honestly, on horror movies, whether or not you should watch them. If you guys are listening to this and you love horror movies, hey, hit us up, give us comments. Brandon and I will at least try to watch them. And if we get enough likes, then I will make Tank watch one.
I'm glad you didn't say me because that ain't happening.
And if you support us on Patreon, you can give us a movie for Naru to watch. See, Naru is one step up.
Hang on. If money is involved, we can talk. Like, seriously, if you guys Patreon.
Yeah, so that about wraps it up this week for the Nerds from Work. We went kind of on a Halloween tangent there with your hocus pocus and die hard ass. But hey, guys, if you want to follow us, you guys are probably listening to this on iTunes, maybe YouTube. Go ahead, like, subscribe, comment, leave us a review on iTunes. That shit helps more than you know. Naru set up a great site, TheNerdsFromWork.com. I don't know who's on it, but it sounds like some pretty cool fellows. So you should definitely check out TheNerdsFromWork.com. You should definitely look for us on Instagram and Twitter at NerdsFromWork. You can follow us on iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud at TheNerdsFromWork. And you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/TheNerdsFromWork, where we have some pretty cool tiers, and we'll call your ass out. Tank, tell them where to find you, buddy.
Yep, you guys can find me all over the internet at The Caped Critic. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Rue.
You can find me at the Naija Nerd everywhere.
You guys can find me at Houdini0333 on Twitter and Instagram. And as always, Brandon.
You can find me on Sniffer, SNIFFR.
Oh my God,
at
he's dating.
Miller425. Not an ER.
This
It's
is
just R.
spell-based one? He's dating dogs, y'all. He's dating dogs.
All right, so if you want to sniff his
Oh
butt,
my God, I was right. It's Tinder for dogs. It's Tinder for dogs.
you'd be walking around in circles and shit, sniffing each other's asses.
Dog dates.
Brandon's into that poodle shit.
I got dog right here, dude. Is that my...
All right, guys.
Oh my God.
Hey, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'm sure these assholes do too. Hey, so from all of us here at the workplace,
Sayonara.
peace.